gentlemen, happy Monday. Another episode of Viall Files coming at you hot.
Ooh.
I feel like this episode's hot.
It's fun. There's some spicy stories.
We say that as if we're just saying it because we want you to keep listening, but I truly feel it's good.
It's sexy.
I finally did it.
What'd you do?
I finally took the enneagram test.
Is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
Enneagram?
Enneagram.
A lot of people have been emailing in being
asking about
it and also
score.
Just saying, you guys should talk about it.
We should. And probably maybe
a whole episode
of learning about it and someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I took the test. Rochelle took the test.
It's a personality test.
It's a personality test. I found it to be the results interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took it while drinking beverages. And you know how I keep my beverages cold?
How?
With BrewMate.
BrewMate. We love our BrewMate.
We do. Why do we love our BrewMate? Because, well, again, keeps our refreshments fresh and chilled.
And also, it's very Instagrammable. Very cute.
Very cute. You can glamp. You can go to the beach. You know how sometimes, when you go and you put it like in some sort of container, and it doesn't look nice, and then you have this like picnic, and you want to be feng shui-ish.
Yeah, take your picnics to the next level.
Oh. Well, BrewMate can help you do that. I love mine. I have this kind of wooden-like thing. I have my BrewMate is a wooden-like. I don't know. It looks like wood.
It does look like wood.
It looks like wood.
Very manly. And mine is glitter rose gold.
Ooh.
And it's so chic.
It's amazing. Beer, wine, spirits. I mean, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. I mean, even if you have a regular iced tea, you want it to be cold. LaCroix. It's amazing how I've taken it out mid-afternoon, Venice Beach.
Seriously.
Sun pouring down.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Plus, it's a great host gift. Like if you're going to a party or someone's hosting you,
great party.
Bring it to their house.
Oh my God. Yes, it is absolutely incredible for that. Well, you can have BrewMate too. So don't settle for warm alcohol. Chill out with your favorite drinks all day long with BrewMate. Visit brewmate.com and add code VIALL15 to get 15% off your first order. That's 15% off your first order when you go to brumate.com and add code VIALL15. Well, Noom. Healthy habits every day. Healthy eating habits, because shavings make a pile. That's right, because you can't change everything in one day.
This is what I say. I say it's 2019. Take advantage of the technology that's out there. This is an app for your phone. It only takes 10 minutes a day, and it does work because it's changing you the way you think about food. It's making you accountable, and it's giving you a support system.
Yeah. And with Noom, on your phone, you have access to one of the biggest databases out there available that lets you track your meals, visual portion sizes, and to see calorie density at a glance. Right there. On your phone. It is incredible. I don't know. What else more can we say? It's helped change our lives, our listeners' lives. And the more information you have, the healthier you're going to be. So feel better with Noom. You don't have to change it all in one day. Small steps make big progress. So sign up today for your trial today at Noom, NOOM.com/VIALL. What do you have to lose? That's right. Nothing but wait. Go to Noom, NOOM.com/VIALL. Shavings make a pile. Small steps make big progress. Noom.
That's Noom.com/Viall, the last weight loss program you'll need.
That is right. Way to hit it out of the park after I put on a T. Enneagram. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Big reveal.
What are you, Nick?
I am a 3 with wing 4. Parentheses, the expert.
You love that, don't you?
I don't love it, but I feel like it's fitting for the show since people call in and ask, what the fuck is going on?
I'm
just like, I don't know. I'm not an expert. Turns out, maybe I am.
No, it means you like being the expert. It doesn't mean you are an expert.
Shit.
Which makes sense.
People with an Enneagram Type 3 Wing 4 personality predominantly take on features of a type 3, but share several with the type 4 as well. They tend to be ambitious, focused, and serious in their behavior. They are very career-oriented and are more introverted than other 3s.
Are you introverted?
I've always said I'm like an introverted extrovert. I can be very extroverted at times, but yes, I can also be very introverted. There are people who will describe me as both.
Yeah. Yeah.
They tend to find much of their identity in their work and are very task-oriented. Basic fears. They tend to throw themselves into their careers and do anything it will take to succeed. Ooh, we are afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Basic desires. Their most basic desire is to succeed and feel valued. That's probably fairly accurate. They may show this by seeking validations of their hard work and successes. Experts defend themselves by adapting or changing their personalities to fit their environment. This makes them great communicators. But they also it also may lead to them feeling misunderstood or feeling fraudulent.
Oh.
Wow.
Do you ever feel fraudulent?
Not fraudulent,
Yeah,
but fraudulent to yourself, misunderstood. Like if you're misunderstood and you're trying to get, I think that's what that means. But I don't know. In summary, be more restrained and controlled. I don't know. My strengths. Every personality archetype has strengths and blind spots. Interesting. Strengths. Being attentive to specific tasks, ability to recognize personal growth areas, connecting with those around them, thinking practically and working efficiently, striving to continually improve. My weaknesses. Focusing too heavily on professional successes. Well, I'm single. Tendency to face self-doubt in successful circumstances. Difficulty accepting loss or disappointment. Being perceived as overly confident or moody.
That's not right.
I'm not moody, but I am perceived as such.
You are moody.
I'm really not.
Okay.
Again.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Anyways, I can't say that that doesn't sound way off base. Rochelle. I was surprised by these results because Rochelle and I seem to be more similar than I would have imagined.
Your wing is 4.
Yeah. You're a 4-3.
I'm 4 with a wing of 3. I know. Similar. Maybe that's...
Do you have the results?
Yeah, so I'm on the Enneagram Institute. It says that I'm the individualist, expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, and temperamental. Sensitive, introspective.
Okay.
My basic fears, I have no significance. My desires to find myself and my significance, to create an identity.
Wow. Rochelle took the test 15 minutes ago in 10 minutes, and I gotta say, wow.
What, you think it's so spot on?
Do you?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
More to be discussed probably later in future episodes.
A lot of people write in and they're like, my Enneagram number is Blake. Like,
I've been asked a lot since we started doing questions with Nick on my Instagram and podcast. People are dying to know.
It's taking over the world.
What mine is. I wonder what people, if people guessed it right.
Exciting.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's that. I found it very fascinating. Another great episode, is it not, Rochelle?
This one's fun.
It's very fun. So strap on your seatbelt. Get ready for a wild ride. Thanks for listening, as always, guys. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes to, validate my profession, as I need to do, as I've learned today, why I seek your validation. As always, we need your questions, especially from our 10%ers out there, and we always appreciate you sharing our podcast with the world on your social media. Couldn't do it without you guys. Asknick at castmedia.com. Thanks so much. Coming up next, questions. So, how's your couch?
So I have it's the sexiest leather tan couch. It's very chic.
You've had it for a while now.
I've had it for a while.
Broken it in? I don't necessarily mean sex, but also...
No, but I just love, I was just laying there reading a book yesterday and I was like, thank you for this couch article. It made me so happy. It looks very cool, but it's also very comfortable. And just the process of them bringing it in and setting it up for me was so easy.
Effortless.
That's what makes me excited about getting more stuff from them, because I'm like, I just know it'll look good, it'll be comfortable, and it'll be easy.
And you love it, but also the comfort of knowing that had you not loved it as much as you do,
yeah,
wouldn't have been an issue.
Back
They'd
and
be
get
like,
it.
Fine.
Totally.
Let us know what you do like. In the meantime, we'll come get this out of your way.
Yeah, and they cut out the middleman, so you know you're getting a really low price for the quality of what you're getting.
Well, me, you, Shug, all have Article couches. We all love them.
You've got a blue velvet.
I have a blue velvet.
And we know that's been broken in.
It has. Indeed. Article is the easiest way to make your space look beautiful.
Oh, no.
Right now, Article is all about no fuss entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
From loungeable poofs,
Oh yeah, poofs,
and sectionals to stackable chairs in the event of extra guests.
Oh, for Thanksgiving maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Article is here to help you make this entertaining season stress-free and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more we can say.
Yep.
30% off over traditional retail prices. Amazing. 30-day return policy with simple returns and exchanges. Article is offering our listeners $50 off their first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/VIALL. And the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
If you buy something that's just over $100, you still get $50 off. That's crazy.
That's like you get it for $50, but also like you might spend a little bit more than $100 because you're gonna want to, because like it is furniture.
Yeah,
it's furniture.
Yeah.
We can't.
We love Article.
I've been an Article customer for 3 years.
Hell yeah.
And it's been amazing. Well, people, Natural Habits, our diffusers are back in stock.
Were they out of stock for a while?
Yeah, they sold out.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Our diffuser are wonderful stone ceramics diffusers. Our essential oil blends. Again, whether you are struggling with anxiety, sleep problems, headaches, if you're trying to get a boost of immunity, our USDA organic essential oils are perfect for those. And if nothing else, again, if you're just looking to scent your indoor air, it is the cleanest, healthiest way to do that. Artificial fresheners like Febreze, plugins, they're filled with toxic chemicals, as well as candles. I know it's hard to hear, but your candles are full of carcinogens and toxins, and you're burning it into your environment. And while candles are nice, and I have candles in my place, try not to use them so much and rely on them to scent your place. Essential oils, safer, have medicinal benefits to them. Natural Habits.
We should come out with a pumpkin spice essential oil.
Again, maybe we're developing some oils right now, but I will tell you our Protect blend, which is good for boosting immunity. Cold and season is upon us. It's a great immunity boost. I use it all the time when I'm, I try to use it every day, but especially when I'm sick, I just lather it up. It also smells like Christmas.
Right.
So if you're looking for a nice Christmas scent for the holidays that aligns good with cold season, Protect. It's an amazing blend. 20% off code NATURAL for all first-time customers. NHOils.com. Check us out. You won't regret it.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How is it going?
It's going good. My name's Lindsay. I'm 24 years old, and I'm calling because I need your help.
All right, Lindsay, 24 years old. How can we help?
So basically, I'm in a little bit of a pickle of friends with benefits that is now hitting that gray zone of what do we do next? So we've been friends for 2 years now, and slowly we started kind of getting. How did the sex start?
Yeah.
It started one night. With both of us kind of flirting at the bar, and he texted like, "Can I come over?" And I was like, "Sure." And like one thing led to another. We were talking, and we just started hooking up.
Is that how the friendship started, or
no?
Friends?
Our friendship started. Honestly, we were friends for 2 years.
Okay.
And like it started this summer. We just started getting closer and hanging out more. I was like kind of his confidant for like his relationship advice and like helping him with like his ex and his problems and like current situations that he was dating other girls.
Okay.
And then we just kind of started hanging out more later at night and just like kind of just like getting to know each other on a different level. And then when we hooked up, it was kind of one of those like, oh, that happened. What are we going to do with this? But never spoke about it. And then we started hooking up more consistently. And then he would say things to my friends like, I always know Lindsay will be there as my second choice. I always know she'll just be waiting for me.
He actually said those words?
Yeah, he said those words. And when I heard about it, I was like, okay, we're done. Like, this is not happening again. I would always like late night with him and his roommate. And it was like really casual. And like, if we hooked up, we hooked up. If I went home, I went home. And then when he heard that, I was like, well, I'm not your second choice. Like, I would, as much as this is just a friends with benefits, I'm not going to be like known as that.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
so is that what bothered you the most? Just the principle of it, or the fact that you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did it actually, because like you're wondering if where is this going?
Well, I think in the beginning I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, like having this person here. It's kind of easy. I'm in like the city with you now, it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And then hearing that was like, well, that's like kind of a shot hit me hard, because I've always been like, in my mind, a second choice to like a lot of people that I've been with.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so I think it was more of like a hit deeper because I actually heard it versus knowing it or like thinking it.
Sure. Or you felt that way before, but now you've for the first time actually heard it. At least.
And I heard of it from someone's mouth that was a friend versus just someone that I was sleeping with or like hanging out with. Like, it was a friend, and I would never expect those words to have come out of his mouth originally.
Totally.
So that hit, and I was just like, okay, this is done. We're not doing this anymore. But like, more so versus me saying it in words, was more actions of me being cold and like not as attentive to him when we'd go out and be with friends. And then one day we were out at a bar and he was like saying something to me, and I kind of flipped him off, and he's like, what's your deal? Like, why are you like acting like this towards me? And I was like, I mean, our dynamics are different. Like, you're kind of being an asshole today. So I don't really know like what you want me to do, is like fawn over you, like think what you're doing is funny when it's annoying kind of thing.
You said this.
And yeah. And that night he ended up coming over, and like, we just had a talk, and he goes, I feel like things are different. Our dynamics very different, and you're not the same person. And I was like, I think people change. Like, I think us hooking up kind of made it is. And I put it in the terms of what it was is what it was. We had fun when we had fun, but that was kind of it. And he ended up sleeping over that night, and we didn't even kiss. Like, we just went to bed, and it was one of those things where he stayed the next day till 12 p.m. and hung out and was like, let's go grocery shopping together. Let's do this together. And I was so thrown off, and I was like,
did you call him out for the thing he said?
So that was the other thing. I heard it from my best friend, who he said it to, that she didn't want me to say anything.
The classic situation.
Okay, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, but your friend doesn't have. So wait, she told you about something that was said about you, and she relayed this information to you as a friend, but made you promise or swear that you couldn't address the actual situation. She expected you to what? Hang on to this truth and then somehow figure it out in a very passive aggressive, indirect way.
I think in her way, it was like, this should be an indication, just stop doing it.
Well, that could be fair, but also I get what your friend's saying, but it's also an unrealistic expectation for your friend. I mean, like, let's be real here. Like, if she's your friend, she must understand at least somewhat of the dynamic of this relationship. I've known you for about 3.5 minutes, and I can appreciate that you obviously, this person, how old is he, by the way?
He's 25.
Yeah, so he's a part of your life. You've been friends with him for a couple years, then you started sleeping with each other. It's an important relationship in your life. You've invested a lot of time and energy in this relationship. So for your friend, your other friend, your girlfriend to tell you this story, which is not nice and it sucks, but it's not fucking detrimental, but it also could be hurtful that she should expect you to just stop it. And stop what? Like, not be friends with him at all, or just stop having sex with him? And even if you just stop having sex with him and you want to remain friends with him, I would expect that you would still want to address what he said to him. Like, how can you be expected to just ignore that? All right?
And I think that was my hardest thing is like, how do I ignore this and then be an asshole or like have a cold personality towards him without him knowing that I know this fact?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things here. One, I think you need to go to said girlfriend and just have a heart to heart and say, hey, listen, I really appreciate you telling me, but like, I make her explain your feelings of like, regardless of whatever I do with him, like he's a part of my life. And as someone who's so important who said this about me, it hurt my feelings. I need to talk to him about this, regardless if I stop sleeping with him or not. I need to get this off my chest because all I see when I'm with him or all I feel is that thing he said. And I need to like say it, you know, I need to get it out. How would you feel if it was said about you with someone that you were so close to? And, you know, why are you protecting him in a sense? Because like she's protecting herself by trying to protect him, but she wants to tell you like everyone should just grow up, be adults, and your friend, your girlfriend should just be able to go to him and be like, well, you shouldn't have said that about Lindsay. And I had to tell her imagine how, if you care about Lindsay, like I care about Lindsay, you would understand that I told her that you said this. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If everyone's real,
Yeah, definitely.
if we're all real friends in this circle of friends, the right thing everyone should understand is that he made the mistake by saying that, and it's fine. It's a mistake. And maybe he just said it and he wasn't, you know, he's not an evil, cruel person, but he wasn't considering your feelings and he was being honest. And it's okay that she told him because, you know, what she should have said in that moment is she should have spoke up right then and there and said, well, if you feel that way about Lindsay, I think you should say that to her. And I don't think you should treat her that way. And by the way, if you don't tell her, I will.
Yeah.
But she's
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
But like, listen, we're talking about what other people should do in this situation. So, but I think it's fair for you to have that expectation. So, I think you should communicate that with her. As far as he is concerned, it's tough. I mean, listen, you know, you're not as confused about why he's sleeping over or why he wants to go to the grocery store. This is a very complicated relationship that doesn't have a lot of good communication. Right. And so,
I think, that's like the biggest, I think the big key factor is the lack of communication on his end, but also my end.
Yeah. You're both
not
guilty.
Wanting to say the wrong thing as a friend too, to lose that relationship.
I mean, it might, right? You guys are like, once you start sleeping with each other, and also you're pretending that you don't have romantic feelings with the guy. I'm not saying you're in love with him, but let's not pretend that you might not be open to the possibility if he made you feel like his number one choice.
Well, I'm going to flash forward really quickly. So like that was a couple months ago, and we flash forward to literally last weekend when he full on confessed all his feelings for me.
Oh my God. Where you just leave that out?
And it's been like one of those slow progressing things where like he'll say something here and there, but the other like a couple weeks or last weekend, he finally was like, I realized I don't just like you. I have feelings for you. I've never felt this way about anybody except for a few people in my life, and you're just special to me. And I'm one that is very reserved with my feelings and very reserved when I express my feelings, and he knows that. So I was like, I mean, this is big for me, but like, I obviously have feelings for you. I like you. And he was like, but you tell me this when you're drunk or a long night out or something like that, and you're not going to remember it. And so the next morning he was like, hey, remember when I told you I have feelings for you?
Yeah.
They're still there.
Aww.
But now at that point, now we're at this point where what are we doing now? Because he's still also sleeping with other people.
And she can't stop thinking about that comment he made. So
yes, and I can't stop thinking about that. That's like stuck in my head.
I just want to make sure we all are on the same page here. All this happened. Fast forward, he confesses his love. He's drunk. He maybe is like he has a pattern of at least saying things when he's drunk. But the next morning, he verified his feelings. You reciprocated and said, "Yeah, I also have a feelings for you." And then what? Nothing happened. You just kind of like, all right, well, have a good day. I'm going to keep fucking other people.
Basically, yeah, that's how it's been going. So it's like driving me nuts because I know he's still talking to other people. He ended up sleeping with one of my friends in a different friend group a month ago. And it's just one of these like things where I'm confused with, if you're telling me this, like, what do you want from this? Like, he's saying how like he knows that I'm thinking about moving sometime soon, but I just signed a 6-month lease. So I'm here for another 6 months kind of thing. Like, why can't we live in the moment? And why are you putting these excuses out?
He said this,
or why can't we explore like more than like us just hooking up on the weekends? Like, I feel uncomfortable texting him during the week to be like, hey, come over, have a glass of wine.
Well, yeah. All right. So like little tough love. You both kind of need to grow up a little bit here, and you need to communicate, right? You're just making a lot of excuses, and you're very confused about how you should do things, and you're operating out of fear. You know, you're operating out of this fear of like losing what you have, but you're also just not comfortable with what you actually have. Like what you have right now is fine, but it's not what you want. You clearly should trust your gut, because it sounds like you don't really trust him. And I don't mean like trust him that he would lie to you or ultimately would be there for you if you need him, but you don't trust him in terms of how he really feels about you, because it seems like he, as a lot of young men do and a lot of people do, will respond also out of fear of he wants to have his cake and eat it too, right? And so he does care about you, probably does in his own way love you, but is he ready to commit to you? Is he ready to give up all this other stuff? I don't know if he even has the answer to that. But I think subconsciously he knows how to say just enough to keep you around. And he knows you well enough, and he's very good at that. And you probably both have this understanding. And again, it's not like you're both kind of manipulating each other, and you've kind of created this. Your relationship's a bit of a relationship monster in a sense of that. You both have developed how you guys communicate, and that is in a very poor way, right? And he knows that subconsciously you do that. And so like it's like when you give an inch, you take a foot. So I'm not saying he's manipulating the situation, and maybe not consciously, and you guys are both doing that. You do that over time if you get comfortable how to not communicate. And so he's doing just enough to keep you around. He's saying just enough. If he really loved you, if he really wanted to be with you, he would not. You would commit to each other. You would stop sleeping with other people. You would have a relationship, and you don't have a relationship. And you shouldn't be confused about a relationship you're in, regardless of whatever that relationship is. And you guys are very confused of the relationship you have. So it's not a relationship that you want. It's just a kind of slightly toxic and very confusing one. So you just need to hold yourself accountable, because that's the only thing you can control of how you communicate to him. Right? The risk you run is that he is going to have a habit of when you occasionally, and it seems like you occasionally do it, stand your ground, and you kind of speak your truth. He has a pattern of knowing what to say to appease you in that moment, and then and then you just kind of react to that moment, but you're not really holding yourself accountable for the big picture. You're thinking at a micro level, and you need to think at more of a macro level in terms of what you want in your relationship. And so, you really need one, and we've said this before, you need to be able to lose him, right? You need to be okay with the possibility of losing him in your life, right? And only until have you accepted the possibility of, even though I love him and in a big picture I want to be with him, I need to first define what I want in a relationship and what I deserve, right? And that is your foundation of what is really important, and you focus on that, and that's priority number one, is meeting your needs and expectations of you and yourself. And then you look at him in that relationship, and based off those top priorities that you have defined and prioritized, then you like present that to him and say, this is what I want and this is what I deserve. And then he will like say whatever he thinks he should say, which was going to in the moment sound really nice. And you like, fine, but you say, no, well, just so you know, priority number one is I want to be in a relationship with someone who only wants to be with me. And you need to absolutely, before anything else, address what he said. That is number one. I mean, like all this other stuff that I'm rambling about and giving you all these things that you have to go back and listen to because I'm saying a lot is more than anything, you need to talk to him about the thing he said. And you need to tell him how it made you feel. And, and your other friend needs to get over it, and she needs to understand that, and she should understand that. And you should address that. I think at this
point I can do that.
Yeah. And you should address that. And you need to get a habit of going forward when things come up to just say it. Say how you feel. Don't hide it. Don't make excuses. Don't ignore your gut. You're doing a lot of that. I mean, number one, you're more than anything, you're just ignoring your gut. And there's probably a million cases with him and your interaction with him is that something feels wrong. You've been really good at just pushing it away and making excuses and like putting up with it and not doing the things that you want because it's been slightly uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable because you're just not good at saying what you want. So start doing that.
Okay. I think, no, it's definitely something I'm like, is my internal issues of not being able to speak up and kind of be in what you're saying, like in the moment of just enjoying that moment, but not really enjoying it because I am not saying what I need to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're, and we've all been there. You're comfortable in that moment. It's like, and I get it, right? And in that mindset, what you'll do is like, there'll be a couple days where you're ruminating about something and it's giving you anxiety and you're trying to guess what he's thinking and you're wanting him to do something. And so you're like pining over these actions, and then he'll do or say or do something that makes you feel better. And it just like you're like, oh, okay, good. I'm not crazy. I'm not, okay, good. He likes me. And then all that other stuff that you were still, you just kind of push away. And you're like, fine, well, let's go to the movies.
Yeah.
And you're just happy
and
in that moment.
Very me.
And you're happy in that moment because it's like, it's just enough, right? And then it starts over, right? Because then he leaves and then you do the same thing over and over. And you need to have the courage to address the whole relationship. You almost in a way kind of have to reset this relationship. You need to start over and you need to and kind of decide. And like what you can't do and what's on you is decide, do you want to be in a relationship with this guy or do you want to be friends with this guy? And you're trying to kind of have both. And you're trying to be like, well, if it doesn't ultimately end up in us being together, I still want to save the friendship. Most likely that's probably not realistic at this point.
Happen,
and even if like you both pretend that it could happen, and even if you guys are fine with it, your relationship is so complicated that if either of you meet someone else, your significant others are probably going to have a problem, and rightfully so, with you guys being pals, right?
For sure.
You will find someone else to be there for you for all the things that he's there for you now, and vice versa. So just be realistic about that and decide what you really want in the relationship, and then reset, and then again prioritize what you want and what you need in a relationship, and then present that to him and see if he's willing to do that. But stop making excuses for him. Stop letting him make excuses. Stop being okay with his making you feel in the moment. You should feel comfortable long term. If he feels good in the moment, you should pause right there and think, how am I going to feel when this moment's over? When we say goodnight to each other and we're done.
I don't like when the moment's over.
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling.
Think about like,
Girl.
all right, I feel good right now. I'm about to have sex with him. We're going to go to a movie. We're going to hang out. We're going to go all day. We're going to grocery shop. We're going to play house for the next 12 hours. How am I going to feel in 15 hours? My guess is you usually feel pretty shitty at hour 15, right after
Oh no.
Because you're constantly wondering, well, what is that? Where is he going? What am I doing? Like, and the next 3 or 4 days you're gonna like think about it, and then like wait for him to show up again. Takes. No,
that's literally the definition of what's going on here.
So stop doing that.
Yeah.
And he has his actions, but you need to start. It is on you at this point, and it is about figuring it out what you want, and you need to have the courage to hold them accountable. And then you guys need to address the fact that, hey, we don't communicate very well. And if he's not an asshole, he's not trying to be a dick, but you have helped him create to him. You've
created a monster.
You've created a monster. So
yeah, no, I like hide, and like that's the thing, we hide behind our phones because we'll talk every day via text over like the most random small things, but we can never like get to this one-on-one ability to talk with each other when we're together with the big group. It's more if it's late at night after we've been drinking kind of thing, and that's from what I've like said to him, like this is our biggest problem. We can't communicate.
Yeah,
and then it's just
what does he say when you say that?
I'll say like I know, like we'll start communicating better. So like his way was, I'll text you more, but the texts are just so, I mean, it's great to talk to someone, especially like someone that you like, but it's just not anything with any depth. It's just.
Yeah. Explain to him that it feels good when he expresses his feelings for you. And it explain to him that it's great when he, expresses like words of love and feelings. That's fine. But when he doesn't follow through, when he doesn't show it, when it waters it down. He's really good at saying things that sound nice, but he's not good at showing that he means the things he says. And try to do it in a way that's not kind of attacking. That's always challenging in these kind of conversations.
Yeah, that's my like inner of like, I don't want this to come across as like an ultimatum or any sort of thing. It's just kind of like, I want to know like a consistency here, like what.
Sure, but also
what's on his mind.
Keep in mind, that's fine. And you want to communicate in a way where he won't get defensive ideally, but you might not be able to control that. Your first priority should be what you want and what you need in a relationship. So as long as that priority isn't sacrificed, then try to find it to communicate. But like, if that is, if your wants and needs in a relationship are sacrificed by you being the cool chick and by you not making him mad, then that's not okay.
Yeah.
So you got to trust your gut, which is what you want, because this will never end unless you do something about it.
No, I appreciate that.
So
thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for
good luck, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're going to be fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's on you right now. Think about hour 15.
Yeah.
Hour 15.
Yeah. Hour 15. That literally is going to be on my head because I'm on hour like 36 by now. So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Don't give in to the moment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
You too. I mean, listen, how often are friends with benefits really friends with benefits?
So complicated.
We complicate it. Well, usually because we're just lying to ourselves.
We're lying to ourselves.
I mean, it's complicated because we complicate it, because we call it friends with benefits, because it's like, we're friends with benefits. But like, I mean, I love them, but like,
right, but I love him. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the call opens up where she's just like, oh no, we're totally cool. We're totally friends with benefits. I mean, it's definitely friends with benefits, and it ends with it's completely not friends with benefits.
Yes. I've never felt like this with anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah. The truth is, I don't really know. I don't know how he really feels about her based on what he said.
Yeah, it's definitely iffy.
It might not even be iffy. He might really, in a way, love her, right? And, you know, they're both still young.
Yeah.
You know, guys will just keep looking even though if they found something, because they don't, I don't know. I mean, also, it is like, listen, if you're going to make yourself so cool and so available, that people will take advantage of it.
I've done that so many times.
I mean, it's just human nature.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The reason why he expresses his words of love when she pulls away is because he's afraid. He's 100% afraid of losing her.
Yeah.
If he lost her, he would really struggle. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he, you know.
Is there a way, do you think, to go from friends with benefits to a relationship? Like, is that a path? Is there a path?
Sure. Yeah. It's called talking. I don't know.
But there is like a lot of hurt, like, oh, you were sleeping with a lot of people, and
I mean, I don't have maybe I feel differently about sex now than when I was 24, 25. I think that might be hard, but like, I don't know. Like, listen, they know they have slept with other people.
Yeah.
So like, you just have to acknowledge it. It's more about, I don't feel like that would be the hard part in friends with benefits, because you already know. And now finally, for the first time, you know that they're not. Mm-hmm. Ideally, right? I'm committing to you, and I don't want to sleep with anyone else.
Yeah.
And that thought should, I guess, give you confidence. But usually, like in this situation, because usually in friends with benefits, it's always the one person has the stronger feelings, the other person just likes to fuck.
Right.
Here, there's clearly feelings on both sides, but he is like, the fact that he said that the second best thing is, I mean, that was honest of him. That she knows he's always there.
She's always there.
And he wants to, like, listen, I mean, listen, ideally, I mean, I'm not here to talk about the open relationship, whatever, but like, a lot of guys, if you gave them the freedom to sleep with other people and still made them sandwiches, they would probably take you up on that offer. You know?
Yeah.
It was like at least half.
Yeah.
So like, stop
being the girl that's always there.
Stop making them sandwiches and being there for them, and like, you know, stop playing house with the people that, you know.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. So that's the path. What's going on? How's it going?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm 37.
Lisa, 37. How can we help you, Lisa, 37?
Great smile.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So back when my husband and I were still dating and living together, there was a period of time when we broke up, and I decided to stay in the area. I moved out of his place. And when I was ready to start dating again, I met this guy that he knew because they were stationed together. They're both in the military.
Okay.
So me and this new guy started hanging out, hooking up, going on dates, seeing each other on the regular with our mutual friends. But over the course of a year and a half, we never really defined our relationship, and it just kind of diminished into a friends with benefits, buck buddy type relationship. And I eventually put an end to the hooking up, and he got back with his ex. I got back with my now husband. Fast forward through 6 years of marriage, 3 babies.
Can we time out? Were you married the first time with your now ex-husband, or you were just dating your now husband?
Oh, no, I was dating my now husband.
Okay, so he was just a boyfriend at the time. It wasn't like you got divorced or separated at the time.
Right.
Okay.
No,
all right. So now fast forward, that stopped, and you got back together with your first boyfriend. You got married, and now you have a family.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I find out that they're going to be stationed together again.
Okay.
And I can't decide whether or not I should tell him that me and his coworker used to have a thing, or if I should just let it go and not say anything.
And okay. So obviously they don't know. They never knew.
So the friends with benefit guy knew about me and my husband.
Yeah, so he knows.
Yes, but my husband doesn't know that there was ever a thing.
How close are they?
They're not close. They see each other every day at work, but they're not friends. They don't hang out or anything. We see each other at work functions.
Did she mention where they work?
They're in the military?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Naval base, right?
Yes, yes.
What does your gut tell you?
My gut tells me not to say anything.
Okay.
It's been a year and a half that they've been working together, and it's super awkward whenever I see this guy.
Do you see him a lot?
In the office.
Do you see him a lot?
I'm sorry?
Do you see him a lot?
Maybe like once a month.
For what reason? Like work events kind of thing?
Yeah, there's work events. Sometimes I go to my husband's office to meet him for lunch. Sometimes there's after hours spouse events.
How's everything else going on in the marriage? Everything else good?
Oh yeah, everything's great. Our marriage is great. We're our kids. We have a great partnership raising our kids together. Mutually supportive of one another's careers.
When you got back together, have you ever in your relationship when you were dating or married? Well, I guess more dating. Talked about past partners?
No.
Ever?
No, he's more of the mindset like, I don't really want to know. And
has he expressed
he's
this
never
to you?
asked.
Okay. It's a tough call. I mean, there is no right or wrong answer here, and that's why I said, "What does your gut tell you?" I mean, yes. Listen, on one side could say like, "Well, he's your husband. You should be able to tell him everything." You feel like you're keeping the secret from him. There's an argument to be made for that line of thinking. At the same time, if maybe some people don't want to know, right? And then here you are. You might tell him something. He's like, "Why did you tell me this?" I don't know. Clearly, it sounds like your gut tells you if he found out, he would have a hard time accepting it. Is that true to say that you know this about your husband?
I think so.
I mean, we don't know the answer, but that's what you think.
Right. And I think that's why I haven't told him, and I don't want it to affect his professional relationship with that guy.
But how much is this bugging you?
How much is it bugging me?
Yeah, like...
So much so that, I mean, I even had a dream about it last night. Like over the many years since I've had this relationship with this other guy, I've had countless dreams about it.
About him or the secret?
He's super sexy, she said. He's super sexy.
So there's some truth to the fact that when you see him, while you love your husband and have kids, you wouldn't mind having sex with him one more time.
I mean, yeah, there's some truth to that.
Okay.
I mean, the sex with my husband is definitely better than the sex with this guy, but I think it was more because there was we never established a relationship. Like, we knew we liked each other, but he was still involved with his ex, and my ex was in and out of my life.
Why, you think that's the reason?
Do I think that's it?
I mean, no, I'm saying like why? I mean, I don't know if that really. I guess I don't think that this whole like we didn't establish anything, so there's like, I don't think you want it to be that reason. I guess also too. Like, listen, I think you maybe just find him attractive and he's kind of sexy and hot, and you could love your husband and be having a fine marriage, but like I don't know, marriage. How long you been married? Like, listen, you can. There's nothing wrong with saying like marriage is forever and a long time, and sometimes, like, like. I'm going to be loyal and love my husband, but like, all things being equal, like I'd like to dip my toes in some other water a little bit,
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I never got closure from that relationship, and it just kind of fizzled out.
See, that's why I go back to that. Why do you think that? When closure, why? Also, don't you think that'd be a little scarier if that were the truth? I mean, if you really needed closure about some guy you had a brief relationship with, what about that relationship is not that you feel in that closure? Because like the idea that you had sex with someone for a period of time and you guys kind of stopped talking is not totally abnormal. Yeah. Well, what about that relationship are you pining over?
I guess, I don't know. I guess it's because we never made it official. Like we never made it an exclusive relationship. And in my mind, I'm always like, why didn't he want me?
Why didn't he want me?
So it's just your ego. Your ego wants to have validation of why you weren't enough for that guy. And that's probably doesn't even mean that has really anything to do with your marriage or your relationship, because it sounds like you're happy, but like your ego's a little pissed off because you're probably not even honest with yourself, but there's a part of you that acknowledges that even though we kind of just faded, it felt like, at least to my ego, that he wanted me less than I wanted him. And I probably responded to the fact that he gave me less and less attention. So I was just like, well, whatever. I'll just fade away and go back to my now husband. But if I'm being really honest with myself, I really liked him. I enjoyed the sex. And if he loved me and gave me the attention I wanted in that moment, I might have still been with him. And that's probably bothering you. And you probably feel a little bit of a guilt right now about that. But it also is probably mostly just your ego of just wanting that validation. And that's also the ego offers excitement. It's, it gives us something to do when we're bored, and all of our lives are a little bit boring,
And the fact that she has to see him every day is like a walking manifestation of that.
Right? That's just like, that's just dumb luck, really. It really is, right? Because like you're not alone. Like this happens to a lot of people. This is not like the one who got away, but we don't always get the closure we ultimately desire, and we all at times get rejected by someone. Everyone gets rejected. Everyone. I don't care who you are or what you look like or how much money you make. People will get annoyed with your shit, right? And so this happens to everyone. And if you're someone who usually gets what you want, it can affect you that much harder. And so here you are, this guy just fucking dumb luck. He works with your now husband, and it's just like, ugh. It also is like gives you something to do when you're bored, and we all get bored.
Yeah.
So like this is kind of this weird thing that you are probably, my guess is, if you've created this dramatic story in your head.
Ooh.
By proximity, because it's also like annoying and it bothers you and you dream about it, but it's also like whatever, because it sounds like, and I'm assuming I'm taking you at your word, that you love your husband and ultimately things are great, but like, I feel like this is kind of this almost fun thing you're doing with yourself. It's kind
Desperate Housewives.
It's kind of entertaining. It makes you feel a little wrong and naughty, but you're not really doing anything wrong. I mean, yes, right. Ideally, like, because the truth is, I don't know if you should tell your husband. If you don't have that type of relationship, it's a weird time to start now. Like if two people are like, I want to know. Like, I don't care. I recognize that you've slept with other people, but like, I just want to know. I don't want to be afraid to know. You haven't established that boundary with him. So like, you could tell him, it could be really pissed off. If you feel truly if you kind of separate this and you truly figure out that I need to tell you, then that might be a choice you need to make. But I'm wondering if maybe you're getting caught up in this story because of like this proximity that he works with your husband. It really is just kind of a dumb luck situation. Yeah. And it's probably mostly driven by your ego, Because like if your husband didn't work with this guy and he just like moved to like he was stationed fucking who God knows where, you wouldn't be thinking about him. He would have just been some guy that you hooked up with and it faded, you know? It's like that happens to all of us. I mean, you know, like, so just, I guess to help yourself get over it, my advice to you is maybe just recognize that and really think about when you did date him, as much as you might have liked him, just one of those exercises would be like, you know, maybe like sex was better with my husband. He was kind of annoying when he did X, Y, and Z. Like, actually, that kind of does irritate me when he does that. I find that to be obnoxious. There are, I'm sure things he does that you find annoying. Focus on those things. Because my gut tells me you are having fun, obsessing over a situation because deep down it's something to do.
Yeah, I mean that's totally possible.
Unless you're holding something. Unless you're like, oh, by the way, Nick, I'm madly in love with him. Like
we're banging.
Yeah, like I'm not getting that from you. It sounds like he's a guy that you were attracted to, and he's around. And in that moment, looking back, your ego remembers a guy who probably broke up with you, even though you technically didn't separate. It just faded. But your ego knows you probably wanted to just keep dating him. And that memory is still there, and you're dealing with that memory. So just acknowledge it. Yeah. You've probably never told yourself that. You have this story that you tell people, your friends, your girlfriends, or us when you call in, like, yeah, we just faded and I didn't get any closure. You probably got closure. He didn't want to date you. He wanted to date his ex, and that bugs the shit out of you.
Ooh.
So acknowledge that, and that's probably why, is my guess. And as far as your husband not telling him, it sounds like maybe don't tell him.
Yeah, I don't think you should tell him.
I think if they've been working together for a year and a half now, it's like, why would...
You're going to deal with the whole, like,
yes.
Now you're telling me?
Shitstorm.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty messed up.
Maybe someday you will tell him because you guys decide to change your relationship. Maybe you guys say, I feel like we kind of hold back, you know? And maybe you and your husband, you know, because clearly listen, I'm different. For me, if I'm going to be married, I don't want secrets. I'd rather just know. Some people don't feel that way. I'm not, you know, I don't know if one's right or wrong, you know? You guys you might be fine with, you know, ignorance is bliss in certain regards. So he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I think he's more of the ignorance is bliss thing. And I think you're totally right about the proximity. If they didn't work together, I don't think it would even be an issue.
Yeah. You're feeling,
I wouldn't feel compelled to tell him.
Yeah. You're feeling more and more guilty about that decision by what you're thinking about the whole situation, about this kind of like desire and this fascination and this feeling of this need for closure, which you don't really need. You know, your ego just keeps tricking you. He didn't want to date you.
I know.
He wanted to move on. That bugs the shit out of you. That was your closure. You know, the reason why, I don't know. Who knows? He was just liked someone else better.
Yeah, you're right. It's totally an ego thing, and I never thought about it that way before. But yeah,
it totally is.
So true.
So yeah, I just focus on the things that annoyed. You know, as far as dealing with it, don't obsess over them. When you're bored and you think about the situation, stop doing it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
So much.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bored on the naval base.
What was I saying? I was talking about to one of our friends about this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're like, well, what makes you qualified to give relationship advice? I was like, literally nothing. I'm just good at it. I don't know. And they're like, well, how do you answer questions? I go, well, if I were to summarize all the answers to the questions, either comes down to ego or boredom, or sometimes both. And this was a call that was perfect because it's driven by both boredom and ego.
Yes.
It's generally the answer.
She's a super hot mom.
Super hot mom.
Yeah.
Before she got married, most guys
throwing themselves at her. Yeah.
She usually got her pick of the litter, so to speak.
Exactly.
And here's this one guy who liked her and faded away. And she tells a story that is like, it just ended. I bet if you go back and watch that play out, he broke up with her.
Yeah.
Maybe not directly, maybe not in a communicative way, but she knows.
Yeah.
Her ego knows, and she knows he ended that relationship.
Yeah.
She might not know the why.
I just love these stories in the hospital and on the I like when there's a setting for it and people are in uniforms.
Anything that can turn into a porno.
I guess so.
Anything that can turn into a porno. So, yeah, I mean, and it almost sounds like, we're not married, and I think...
Yeah, right.
Listen, like, monogamy is tough, and commitment is tough, and people always want to think when they're married and they found the one that it's all like... I think sometimes that's why relationships don't work, is because we tell ourselves things are perfect and we know they're not. And that's okay that they're not perfect.
It's okay, yeah.
But it's the idea of trying to keep perfection going that makes us, it almost kind of makes it, I guess we don't love each other if it's not perfect. Or maybe it's just like, listen, fuck, I mean, just because you love someone and you want to be with them doesn't mean you're not attracted to other people your past. Doesn't mean not have a dream about some great sex you had.
It would be great if you could tell your partner that. I just had a sex dream.
Sure, and some people can, but when you kind of pretend you don't want to, and the whole every relationship's different, and how honest you are with each other.
Yeah,
I mean, I had relationships where right off the bat I was like, well, here, I'm an open book, and then it was like, wow, that backfired.
Really?
Never. Oh my God.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, sure. Some people don't want to know the truth even when they say they want to know the truth. Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, the noble thing would be like, oh my God, you have to tell your husband, but I don't know in her situation if she should. Mm-hmm. But she's making it worse. How's it going?
Good. Hi, I'm Ashley.
Ashley, how old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Ashley, how can we help?
So I'm just wondering, I've been married for about 6 years, and I have quite a few friends that are guys, and my husband is not super cool with it. So I'm wondering, is it okay to have friends of the opposite sex when you're married? And how do you know if the friendship is inappropriate when you're in a relationship or not?
Do you feel like you have any relationships with your guy friends that could be thought of as inappropriate?
I don't think so, but my husband has told me that I have.
I'm so sad.
Okay, well, yeah, there is a difference between the two. It's a juggling act, and I think in any relationship, marriage or otherwise, of what is actually, what's inappropriate. A lot of that is this perspective, right? I mean, there's a fine line between like someone who's like controlling or delusional or whatever, but I mean, if that's what a monogamous relationship means to them, then that's what it means to them. It's kind of like an upfront expectations. I mean, you guys have been married for 6 years. You're 27, so clearly you got married young. So I think sometimes when you get married young, that doesn't happen in terms of defining what you guys are okay with in a relationship, what you're not okay with. Because you get married so young, you were figuring out what you guys both value in relationships and in with yourselves while you were married. That's harder to do. It's easier to do when you, like you say, get married when you're 30 and you've dated other people and you've grown and you've learned and you've realized what you like or you don't like, right? And so the struggle with you guys is you've done that in a relationship. I'm assuming you haven't had sex with any of these guy friends.
Correct.
And I don't mean like when you were married. I mean like ever.
No. My husband's the only one.
Your husband is the only one you've ever slept with?
Yes.
Okay. Is he the only one? Are you the only one he's ever slept with?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's part of your challenge. There's not much you guys can do about that. Is the fact that it just sounds condescending, but he doesn't know any better. And there's not much you can do to make him feel differently about it because, like he doesn't have the perspective of having a partner have friends who are males and having that be okay. And that is a challenge for you.
Is he controlling in other ways too?
No, I think that's probably the only way.
Overall, you're pretty happy with the relationship in your marriage?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You've thought about that?
No.
What aren't you happy with?
Oh no!
Well, I don't know. She could just be like, I don't know, he doesn't like do the dishes.
She didn't sound. Yeah.
Yeah, but you definitely
he's-
paused. What was the pause for?
No, he's really great at everything else. It just feels like we fight all the time about this same thing.
Okay. When you guys fight, what are your arguments and what are his?
Okay, so for instance, he once saw a text message come through to my phone
Mm-hmm.
from one of my friends, and it was just around Christmas time, and my friend had just gotten divorced, and so I sent him a text saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope like the holidays are okay without your kids."
Sure.
And he texted back and said, "Thanks, hope you're having a good Christmas," and whatever. And that was it. And my husband saw it, and then he had accused me of having an emotional affair with this guy.
Sure. I mean, I see it from both sides, and I don't mean you didn't do anything wrong, but
What do you see from both sides?
I mean, just put yourself in his shoes, right? He was a virgin. He got married at 21. He doesn't have. I'm assuming maybe he does. I don't know. Not a lot of female friends.
Does he?
He works with a couple females, but I wouldn't say they're like super close friends.
Maybe not like Ashley here, right?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden he sees a text that says, "I'm thinking about you." You know, I mean, again, I don't think he knows any better. You know, I don't think my guess is it's safe to say he doesn't have he does lack experience when it comes to having all these different types of relationships. I mean, again, there's no right or wrong. Like he got married at 21. And if I had gotten married at 21, I've learned so much about social relationships and interpersonal relationships and having friends with benefits, having girlfriends, having just friends of the opposite sex and all these different, I've had so many different types of relationships, so much that I'm not easily threatened by all these other relationships because in a relationship, I can have the perspective to be like, well, this is what's going on. This is why I'm not jealous. And so much of being jealous is insecurity and it's the fear of the unknown. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying I can see why he could feel that way, and he feels like that's happening. He doesn't know any better. Almost.
Are these guys like both of your guys' friends, or exclusively your friend?
They're my friends, but when I try to like have my husband come meet them or introduce them, he like he doesn't want to do it. And he did it once with a couple of them, and he just made up his mind he hated them immediately.
Okay, that was a great question because that's the real only solution is to integrate the friends and have them be comfortable. Now, you can't do much about the fact that if he's unwilling to do that. Have you, and so do you have female friends as well, or is it dominated by your male friends?
No, I have a couple female friends.
But you connect with a lot of male friends.
Where are you meeting these guys?
I play a lot of like rec sports with them.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Let me ask you this. You love your husband. It's great. It's fine. But with you meeting all these different types of guys in the past 6 years, I'm guessing there's probably various qualities that they have that you might not be getting out of your marriage and your husband. And while you love your husband and while everything, I guess, is like all seemingly fine, you've grown to find some of these guys attractive for various reasons. And you haven't maybe crossed the line, and maybe you haven't pined over or thought about them. And nothing's necessarily inappropriate, but you are drawn to them for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess what I'm saying.
But not. But like, Yes and no.
No, listen, you're not. I'm not shitting over getting married young, but it comes with a price, and there comes with a price with getting married late. I mean, like, listen, it's like anything. There's always a cause and effect, right? If you're gonna get married young, you're gonna get married with limited experience to what life has to offer. Marriage is about sacrificing commitment. To get married and be in a monogamous relationship, by definition, you are saying no to all these other things because you love someone. And that's kind of the beauty of a marriage. Well, when you do it at 21 and you do it 3 years after you become a legal adult, you can only have so much life experience. And so when you're literally saying no to all these different types of people you would otherwise met and connected with and maybe have intimate relationships, you have to do that in other ways, right? So I don't think you are emotionally cheating or doing anything wrong, but you are getting value out of it. And that's not wrong either, but again, your husband can probably sense that. That's a challenge. I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but like, that's just seeing his side. How you guys, again, I agree with Rochelle. The best way to try to do that is to integrate. If he's not willing, you have to try to find some common ground. He's not wrong. That's why, like, I'm defending, because I think the first reaction is to assume he's some controlling husband.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
We don't know enough to make that statement, but it's not completely out of this world to empathize and recognize why he might be threatened or why he's uncomfortable with his wife having all these guy friends.
That she met at rec co-ed.
I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong, but I guarantee you, while you're not emotionally cheating, you're getting something out of it. And you're getting something from them that you're not getting from your husband. And we all know ourselves. We all know we're not good at what we're good at. And he probably senses that. And that's jealousy comes from insecurity. And he's insecure about these guys that you're meeting your friends with that have qualities that he doesn't have. And you enjoy that about them, And because that's just, it is what it is. How you guys go about it, I mean, I can't imagine getting married at such an early age and not, even in a healthy, nice relationship, not needing to get marriage counseling or therapy, because you guys need to process what it's like to, like, try to, if you're going to get married at early, you have to figure out a way to still feel like you both can, as a couple and as individuals, experience life. And do that in a way where you both feel like you're committed to each other and have each other's backs, and you're both faithful to each other. And I think that can be very hard to navigate. And I think a lot of couples, to do that, just push experiences away because they don't know. It's hard to do. But, like, there's that conundrum. My parents talk about it a lot. My parents love each other. They have a great relationship and a great marriage. They're experiencing things for the first time as a couple in their late 50s and early 60s because, they just, got married, started having kids, and just only had each other. And there's great there, but you're not wrong for making friends, and you're not wrong for, like, being active and doing recreational sports, and you're meeting people, and that's fun and exciting.
Yeah, it's great.
Does he play sports too? Does he want to play sports with you? I mean, the best thing to do too is try to make friends that he's making friends with as well.
Yeah.
At the same time. The problem is you're making them first, and then you're trying to introduce your husband to these friends that you already have. And he's like, how did you meet these people? When did this happen? So, like, does he like to play rec sports with you? Does he like to do things with you?
He doesn't like to do it with me.
Okay. That's on
him a little. He gets embarrassed.
Yeah.
And thinks that
Because you're really good?
Are you really good?
No.
Why does he get embarrassed?
Well, he gets embarrassed. Well, so I played in college.
So you are good.
So he gets embarrassed because he feels like he doesn't fit in, and that I'll laugh at him or... Okay,
well, so you go. Like, what do you guys like to do as a couple?
We like
that includes other people.
Sports.
Together. Watch sports.
Okay. Well, you need to, as a couple, find activities you like to do together with other people.
All right.
It can't be something that you like to do with other people. And I'm not saying you have to give that stuff up either.
Yeah.
But right now it sounds like your hobbies don't include him. And then the hobbies that include other people don't include him. And the hobbies that you guys like together don't include anyone else. You know? And so you have these two different worlds you're operating in. And again, once again, I can empathize why he would be intimidated by that. When you feel like your partner has this whole world that you're really not a part of.
I mean, don't you think that's like they say it's the best relationships you have your own lives?
Totally. But when it's two different silos and there's no interacting and there's no balance.
Yeah.
When I wasn't married, but when I was young and I had a serious relationship, I went through something similar like this.
Okay.
We all have, in a sense that like we my first girlfriend, you learn a lot about each other, and you're growing up together in a committed relationship. And she would have all these friends. I didn't know them at all, and it really bugged me. And I just was like, I felt like, I felt like she was doing it on purpose, and I think she was. Because again, you're young. You were young. You were definitely young 3 or 4 years ago, and yet you were married. And so you're trying to be faithful and be a good wife or a good husband. But at the same time, being like, well, I like meeting new people and new friends, and it's exciting. And, and I kind of like this for me. It's mine, I think right now, yes, I think there's a balance in having your hobbies, but I think you have such a separation. And like the things that you like to do with other people, he feels like insecure and judged. I mean, God, what a relatable thing that he does. So I think you need to try to find things that you guys like to do as a couple that you both enjoy that include other people, so that you can both meet people and have groups of friends, so he feels less intimidated by it. He's just threatened by these guys. That's why he doesn't want to get to know them, and that's why he thinks they're stupid. And I can understand why. It doesn't make it right. I'm not saying right or wrong. You're not saying he's controlling, so I'm assuming he's not controlling. He's just very insecure about this. And he's very insecure about these men, and he wants to be enough for you.
Aww.
And it's not that he's not, but like in a way it's almost impossible to be enough, because like you both need to like meet other people, not necessarily to sleep with or have like romantic affairs with, but like it's just fun to meet different types of personalities. And especially it's not 1980 or 1970 anymore. In a world where we have so much access to personalities and social media, you're more drawn to meet different personalities, and it's hard to like push those feelings away. So yeah, that's what I would try to do. He needs to try to still play sports with you. He needs to get better at facing his insecurities and fears about, like, even if he doesn't like it, he still has to try to do it. And even though if he doesn't want to do it, you need to keep asking him. So you probably stopped asking him, is my guess. You probably just enjoy, and you probably like your free time too. So maybe there's a balance in having your free time, but make him always feel welcomed. Even if he says no, people still want to be wanted to parties, even to the parties they don't want to go to. So keep asking him. And then try to figure out. It is
hard because we do have kids. So it's like one of us has to be home with the kids most of the time.
Babysitter.
These are called excuses.
So we can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good goal.
I'm not saying it's always going to be easy and convenient, but you need to find ways.
Make a priority.
To make each other a priority.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have these various problems, right, you can either just have them continue to be problems that you constantly argue about, or you can try to find solutions. So yeah, babysitters, there are things you can do, right? I like what you guys are going through. I'm guessing is probably very relatable to anyone listening who's been married young, and it's a challenge. And that challenge is that guilt you might feel by experiencing life without your husband or wife. And that doesn't mean you're cheating, or emotionally cheating or physically cheating. But they don't understand it, and they get insecure, and they feel threatened, so they project their insecurities. You guys need to try to make each other not feel threatened, and you need to always invite them and always include them, and then try to do it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely get better. And then maybe it's therapy. Maybe it's couples therapy to do this and have these conversations together. Again, man, I can't imagine how hard it is to try to grow as people and as individuals and as a couple at the same time, and the things that you liked and are passionate about at 21 are going to be different at 26, and they're going to be even more different at 35. And you guys to always make sure that you guys are bringing each other along with each other. And sometimes it's okay to ask for help as a couple. It's good that we're talking here, but he's not on this call either, right? So like, I think as a couple,
Right.
maybe you guys should go like talk to people and
We have
Yeah.
too.
Oh, you have.
keep doing that.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a question about that. Like growing individually and together, because I feel like as I get older, I'll like do things and he'll say something like, I don't even know who you are anymore. You've changed so much. And like these kinds of things. And I'm like, well, of course I'm not the same person I was when I'm 21, but like,
Oh.
what do you do there? I don't know.
Well, there's probably one. It's something people say when they're insecure or threatened. It might be something they just say, and there also might be some truth to it, right? My guess is you're generally the same person you were at 21, but you do have some differences. And part of the reason they might feel that way is because you might not be including him as much as you could. And then maybe you're using the excuse that I don't know, right? But I'm just giving you scenarios, is that you probably like a little bit, and rightfully so, some of this free time that you have. You probably like the ability to make friends with some of these guys that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong with, but like you couldn't do if your husband was sitting next to you, And he feels that. He feels threatened and insecure. He can sense it, Women might be more intuitive, but it doesn't mean guys aren't, And so it's just a real challenge when you get married younger. And so there is some truth to it. What you can do about it is be like, all right, well, don't try not to be defensive about that, because I get defensive when I hear stuff like that, but try not to be. And then ask him what he means. And then, all right, fine. Well, I want to be different. He might be different too. You guys just have to go out of your way to make each other a priority. It's inevitable that you're going to be different people at 27 and 21, to your point. But like, do you guys still want to get to know each other? Right? Like couples, even if you've been in a long distance relationship, can lose touch. You can become more distant, and you guys might have to reconnect, even as couples. Sometimes you just think sometimes you take that for granted. Well, we're married, we're husband and wife, we have kids together, so we must know everything about each other. You might not. You might have grown apart. You might have become closed off. You might be telling some of your guy friends more than you're telling your husband. He probably feels very threatened that some of these guys might know more about you than he does. And there might be some truth to that, right? So you need to communicate with him and make him a priority. And maybe for the time being, you maybe need to shut some of these guy relationships down while you reconnect with your husband. And then if you want to have other friends in your life, that is good to do and have your independence. But, your marriage does come first if you want to be married, and you guys need to be on the same page.
Okay.
So it's tough, but it's good that you're trying to work on it. And there's, I'm guessing probably a lot of people listening are relating very much to your story. And I think it's just okay sometimes you have to admit to yourself and to each other that we are different, and that's okay. And that can be scary, but it's not uncorrectable. You can always reconnect with people. Friends reconnect. People lose touch and they become great friends again. You can still do that with your husband. But you have to acknowledge it and then address it and then make them a priority again. Stop fighting about that. Right now, put these guy friends aside. They aren't your husband. You should still have friends, and some of them can be guys, but it needs to be on the same page.
Okay.
All right. Well, best of luck, Ashley. I'm rooting for you. It's a challenge, but you just have to communicate.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Keep getting counseling.
All right.
All right.
Bye. I see where you're coming from your advice, but like everything in me is like, no, like you should be allowed to have your own friends and do your own things and have your own activities and.
Sure, but I think you're saying that, and we're similar. Who's 33 and single?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like,
right.
Imagine I don't know if you had a boyfriend at 21, but
Yeah, I was
I
was very jealous of the women he hung out with.
imagine marrying that person and now being 33, and how different are you as a person?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think I don't think this is a question about saying she should or shouldn't have friends.
Right.
My gut tells me that she's become closer with these guy friends than her husband. If we're keeping it super real, my gut tells me there's some guys out there that know more about her than some of the things her husband knows.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, she's made, she probably is a different person. All these things that she says he said sound like very reasonable insecurities that he might have.
Okay.
That doesn't make him controlling.
Okay.
And he feels very threatened. And I think there's no one to blame. I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong. I'm not saying he's doing. I think they are a young couple who have grown apart.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons. And if they still love each other, need to find a way to reconnect. And for the time being, I'm saying she might have to put some of these friendships on pause.
Yeah.
If you are going to be married, regardless, whatever age you get married, you still have to prioritize each other's. Marriage is about sacrifice. You can't get married and expect to have all the freedom you had as a single person.
Yeah.
Regardless, it doesn't make your partner controlling by saying, if you want to be with me, there's some things you have to give up. And it is a balance, though. In a marriage, you should hopefully have independence and freedom, and you should be on the same page. But if you're doing it independently without being on the same page with your partner, it's going to cause these problems.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to grow apart, they're going to feel threatened and insecure.
Yeah.
All right. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm 26.
How's it going, Rachel? 26.
Hello. So, okay, I work at a local engineering firm, and we have about 5 company cars. And my phone automatically hooks up to the Bluetooth, as well as 5 other people.
Okay.
And so, sorry?
I said okay, yeah.
So one day I was getting into the car, and I turned on the car, and normally my Bluetooth hooks up to the car automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, one of my coworkers' phone had hooked up before mine, so I think he was in close vicinity.
Okay.
And his display name popped up, so I knew who it was. And I heard a female voice on the phone, and I assumed right away it was his wife. The conversation was a little bit probably not work appropriate, but I tried to disconnect and didn't think anything of it. I just really assumed it was his wife. And because his phone had hooked up to the Bluetooth, he stopped being able to hear her. And so he said, "Hello, I can't hear you," but he said her name. And
time out. Can I interrupt for a second? And I think I understand what's going on, but you were in the car, but he wasn't. He was like 5 or 10 feet away, and he didn't realize that the car connected. And right, it's almost like when someone hangs up the phone, but you keep talking and they don't realize, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that, I think I only, for the people listening, this is what's happening. Because at first I was like, he was in the car with you, and why didn't he just interrupt? So, all right, so it connects on the phone. You're in there. He's not in the car.
He's not in the car.
Okay.
He's somewhere else. I can't see him.
All right.
I just know that he is on a conversation with a lady I'm assuming is his wife.
Sure. Okay.
Based on the conversation that they're having. And so I right away tried to disconnect and connect my phone, but I wasn't familiar. It's not my car, so I wasn't familiar with how to do that efficiently. And he said her name, and the name that he used was not his wife's name.
Okay.
And I know that because I know her and I know him. We do family events for work and everything. And so I knew right away that was not her name. And so I just froze. I drove away, and as soon as I drove far enough, the phone disconnected. And I wasn't going to do anything about it. But she comes in, and I see her, and I see him, and it's just awkward. He doesn't know I know. She has no idea about anything. And so I guess my question is, do I say anything? Do I talk to him? Do I talk to her? I don't see her frequently, but she does come in, And it's just so hard to make eye contact with her. I feel like I'm hiding something from her.
What was actually said? Can you give us some details in the call?
Like meeting up later and, some sexual things.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, just what they were going to do later when they met up.
I would really love it if you could describe in detail what they said.
They were just talking about sex. Like they wanted to have sex together.
Great. All right. Well, I mean that's important because if you're like he was talking to a girl and it sounded like they were flirting, but maybe not. But it was obvious to you that there was, if it's not his wife, some clearly inappropriate lines were crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, when it did hook up with Bluetooth, how long did this go on for before he realized that the phone connected? Because if like your phone hooks up with a Bluetooth, you can keep talking, but you can't hear them.
It was probably only about 30 seconds. She was talking for a while before he chimed in and realized that he wasn't listening to her anymore.
Yeah. And so does he, do you wonder if maybe, well, I guess you wouldn't really know if he wonders if maybe what happened or
He just said, "Hello, are you there? I can't hear you." And then I had driven away by then, and so the phone had disconnected.
How close are you with this coworker and his wife? Is it really just you know them through work?
Yeah, we're just only coworkers.
They're not friends. You're not. Really
I'm not friends with them. I've only talked to them I've talked to her only at events that we've had. As a work, but I see him every day. I interact with him on a daily basis.
Yeah, listen, absolutely the right thing to do for your sake, selfishly for you, is to not say anything. If you want to be the good Samaritan and like a saint or whatever, I mean, fine, but like this is a work situation. It doesn't involve you. You're not close friends. You heard something you weren't supposed to hear. I don't think you really want to involve yourself in like workplace drama. You have no idea how he might react to this. I don't know. And so
what a strange situation.
It's a strange situation, but like it is definitely best for you to not say something. Especially because you weren't supposed to hear it. And also, like you don't really know, but like imagine let's say you want to do the right thing. Maybe that is give him the benefit of the doubt, so you address him. If you don't really know him and you're not friends with him and you don't have a good relationship, it's going to make your life harder because I don't know this guy, but he would have to. I mean, he's a guy who cheats on his wife potentially, so that's already a red flag of someone. He's selfish. So that's something that I would feel more intimidated by getting myself in conflict with someone whose moral judgment is in question. And so now you're working with this person. Who knows how they react? You could, they get defensive. They think that you're out to get them. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at upside downside specifically for you at work, there is very little upside. And there's a lot of potential downside. But if you want to do the right, I guess you could, but like you still have very little information here to involve yourself in something.
Yeah.
And while unfortunate and sad, I mean, it doesn't sound like anyone's life's in danger or like, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation for his wife per se, but like, she might be already suspecting something. Who knows? But like, this is drama that really might not be best for you to involve yourself in, especially because it's at work. If this was like anything outside of work, or maybe it was like a mutual friends or whatever, like then fine, you could like have fun with it and do the right thing and be involved in the drama. But if this is a job that you like and it's a job you want to keep, I think it's best to stay out of the drama of people's personal lives.
Yeah, and I feel so bad because she comes in and she brings their son and she'll bring him Starbucks. And I mean, I interact with her pretty little, and I think you're right. I need to not say anything, especially because I do like my job. But just, I get so uncomfortable when I'm with all of them together and I know something and they don't know I know. And
yeah, listen, that sucks, but you just got to put outside of that. If you really want to do something, if you need to do something, do it anonymously. I mean, which kind of sucks for the person hearing, because if I got like an anonymous postcard,
you really think she should?
I'm not saying she should, but if you feel morally conflicted, like I would want to know if this was me and it really bugs me and I just need to get this off my chest, then do it anonymously. Like send him a note, let him know, like don't reveal yourself, but like, hey, this is a situation, something's going on. I'm not suggesting you do this, but if you can't get over it, if you can't and I think you can get over it. I think you can just let it go. But if you can't do it, like, I just think there is no upside for you personally at work to get involved, and there's a lot of downside.
Yeah.
You know? And if you need to, like, if you want to do the right thing, the moral thing, then do it anonymously. It is not your responsibility to involve yourself. And if you need to let them know, you can do that by like sending a note or sending an email. If it's from an email, don't have it be from yours. Create a whole new email address, give specifics and then let it go, but that's it.
Okay, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I it's a fine line because, we live in a world where if you can do the right thing, you should do it, right? And if we all went around this world saying it's not my problem, the world wouldn't be a better place. So I know I'm being a bit contradicting here. My answer is very much driven the fact that this is a workplace environment for you. And you need to protect yourself because you could be affected negatively. If all things were equal, that it wouldn't impact you whatsoever, then my answer would be probably different. But this could affect you if you involve yourself. You don't really know if it could. So that's why you need to think about that, And so you could let her know anonymously. You could do that.
Well, his position is higher than mine too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want.
You definitely should not reveal yourself and involve yourself. You can do it anonymously, but really make sure you cover your tracks. I mean, listen,
that's crazy
she's gonna
advice, I think.
Listen, she's gonna find out someday.
Yeah.
If not from you.
Or maybe she knows, maybe it's an open relationship.
Yeah. That's the thing. It could be an open relationship. You don't really know. So protect your job and protect you. And then, but in the grand scheme of life, sure. If you can help your fellow man without it hurting you, then you should do that. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think you're right.
Best of luck. Thanks for calling. It's certainly an interesting story.
The Bluetooth scandal.
But separate that, work. It's touchy,
Yeah.
Don't create drama for yourself that you're not involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't have heard that. And it wasn't your fault that you did.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll admit that for someone who I don't back away from adversity.
Yeah.
I don't like drama, but I love it.
What?
I don't like watching Real Housewives for the simple fact that everyone's just yelling at each other and I find it kind of productive.
I love Real Housewives.
I'm not shitting on the show.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people love it. I'm just saying, but I can be what I'm saying is with her, I can see myself wanting to do the right thing, but there's a part of me just wants to involve myself in a way.
And also I'm like, is it really the right thing to tell? I don't even know if that's true.
Well, that's the thing is she has very little information, even though she has a lot.
Yeah.
But who knows? You don't know the dynamic of a relationship. She wasn't supposed to hear it.
Yeah.
While this is unfortunate, if it is a cheating situation, it's not like anyone's in danger.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
He's not endangering himself or someone else. Yes, exactly.
And so there's so much
child,
downside for her.
Oh, yeah. I feel like so many of my coworkers have been have done terrible things, and I'm just like, not my problem, because it's not.
But I'm saying sometimes we get caught up into it. It's fun. It's fun. You know, like she wants to. It's like a murder mystery. It's like, instead of hunter killer, we're involve myself in this office drama.
I know, but is it that savior mentality? Like, it's up to me to save her. And it's like, it's not really.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, again, you should always find ways to help people out when you can and do your part, even if it's not your problem. But if there's a lot of potential downside for your own well-being, you should not involve yourself in a situation you're not involved in.
Yeah.
But people do that a lot.
A lot. They
insert themselves in shit has nothing to do with them, and then it affects them negatively.
Right.
A lot of people do that.
Also, people do not react well in those situations usually. Like, no one's ever gonna be like, wow, thank you so much for telling me. Like, it's gonna be
no.
Yeah.
She will immediately become a threat to him.
And even the wife might react badly to her. You never know.
Specifically to him, someone who is a higher position, she becomes a threat. And what do we do with threats? We eliminate them.
Kill them.
Just, so she should definitely.
Oh, man.
Not. Well, Rochelle, once again, fun episode.
Very fun episode.
What are our takeaways? Boredom and ego.
Ooh, boredom and ego. I like that.
But again, boredom.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from the fact that I don't doubt that she wants to do the right thing, and I don't doubt that she is uncomfortable.
Right.
So it's fun.
It's fun. Drama.
Drama is fun.
Yeah.
That's why we watch it.
Yeah, we should
That's why we involve ourselves. That's why we. All our lives are all boring to a certain degree.
True.
It is, and that's okay to admit.
Yeah.
Even the most exciting people, what you think is exciting, they get bored too.
Yeah.
And we constantly need stimulation, and this is definitely stimulation. That is for sure.
Stimulation.
Well, people, thanks once again for tuning in. It's been another fun episode. Thanks for joining us. We always appreciate. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars and sending your questions at asknick@castmedia, castwithak.com. And until next time, keep on keeping on. Bye-bye.